Right here. Okay, so welcome everyone. This is our second Monday morning mastermind. We are so excited. I'm excited to invite our guest, Tazim Jamal. She is one of us. She's a licensed esthetician. She is a highly respected, passionate spa professional who has been in the industry for over 3 decades. She's also an award-winning master esthetician, a spa business coach, and an international speaker. I was actually introduced to Tazim through Rachel Tolve of Mudvellum, who wanted me to talk to Tazim because knows all things TED, all about TED Talks. And I was prepping one, and so I passed my talk by Tazim to get her stamp of approval. So I've been fascinated with her ever since then. She is a brand ambassador with TEDx and has been featured in multiple books. Also has the number one best-selling book on Amazon. She frequently writes for industry publications. In fact, she just told me she's doing a webinar for Skin Inc. Coming up, so stay tuned. She also has been published in Dermascope, and her mission is to really raise the bar in the industry and to inspire others to passionately build a rocking business. So let's welcome Tazim. And I want to thank you for joining us, Tazim. My goal with this master class, someone's talking. I don't know. We might have to mute.
We can mute the rest of the.
Jump in. But I think Tazim our visions are similar. So my goal is to up-level the industry, and with a focus on estheticians who want to develop a multi-ethnic practice. And Tazim is just, an all-around.
Okay, so you're starting at years 89.
Right? But
minus 17 doesn't give you 45. That's why you're not getting this wrong.
Maybe you can manually turn everybody's.
I just muted Mary.
Okay.
Hi, Mary. Raise your hand if you want to chime in. Tazim's open to answering questions throughout the entire conversation. There's a small group of us, so if you have some questions that are specific to you, let's jump into it and, get a little quickie coaching session going.
Why not, right?
So I'm here. And you can just type your message here and I'll unmute. So, thank you for joining us.
You're so welcome. Thank you very much. Very, very happy to be here. It's a little early to be giving, info, but this is awesome. I'm really happy. I'm like, okay, it's a gorgeous day. At least it's the sun is shining, right? So welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for giving of your time. I really believe that time is one of our biggest commodities, and I'm always honored when people show up. So thank you. And thanks, Alish, for asking me. I'm honored to be a part of this and looking forward to helping to support and helping others stay inspired and grow. So as Alish said, I've been an esthetician for a very, very long time, and I'm really passionate about what I do. I've been on and off probably coaching for probably over 10 years, but really formally decided 3-4 years ago that this was something I wanted to do to give back, because it was my way to transition out of working full-time with my clients. And, it all started because people would say to me, how did you do that? And I'm just like, and my question would be, how did I do what? Right. And so I had to really step back like 10 steps to really look at what I was doing. And so it's really quite a powerful exercise. And I think that's why it took me so long to really get up and running, because it was really coming from a place of so much of what I do is so intuitive. And I come from a strong business background because my parents were also entrepreneurs and had moved around a lot and always just got up and went forward again. And so it's really about learning, I think, authentically how to show up as a business person. And I think that when you can show up as who you are and decide in your mind who it is that you want to cater to. And it's not enough to say that I want to cater to ethnic skin, because that is definitely a part of it for a lot of the collective in here. But at the end of the day, it's really important to position yourself as the expert in your community. And I think that's something that estheticians and caregivers, spa beauty professionals, we're so fearful of standing in our power. That's one of my favorite phrases, stand in your power. And I think that when we take the reins of who we are, that's when clients start to really view us as that professional. So we have to almost act as if we are before we even get there, right? And so when we do that, that's how we're going to attract our clients. So for those of you that are maybe, I'm guessing from what Alicia says, a lot of people in this, collective are either just starting, maybe they're rebranding, maybe they're re-beginning their business, or they're changing their focus, right? So they're going from being, a beauty professionals, and now they want to specialize. So in this case, working with you, Alicia, the master in pigmentation and working with ethnic skin, you really are needing to do that. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, your social media, that really has to deliver. And there are a lot of estheticians that are not always in a position to spend a lot of money on setting up their websites. But however, today we have access to a lot of really affordable or free sites that you can use to at least get yourself up and running, right? And so it is really important. As much as social media, I really love social media, and I think it's a huge part of our marketing because it's free, right? But on the flip side, I always say, we don't know what's going to happen to Facebook, to Instagram, to Twitter 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years from now. So it's very important for us to own our clients. And by that, I mean, we need to be list building from day one. So very important when you're seeing a client, even if you're not using your email list a lot, or if you're not even ready to launch it right now, start collecting those email addresses, and you can slowly create a format that you want to take with your email newsletters and start then using that as a tool to stay connected to your clients. I mean, Facebook is massive. It's the biggest platform out there. But the challenge we have with that is there's also equally that amount of other businesses that are vying for the same dollars and the same conversation. So very important for us to own our clients in that being able to connect with the clients. If something happens, as an example, we've had a lot of issues with Facebook. Even last week, Facebook was down for all, Facebook and Instagram were both pretty much down for their entire day and a half. Mm-hmm. Well, how do you connect with your clients? What if you lost all of that? And so building your list is very important right from the beginning. So in terms of some marketing ideas, excuse me, really important. Go ahead, Alicia.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, when it comes to list building, I struggle with how often to send a newsletter. Like how I hear you have to, the average person has to see something, is it 8 to 11 times?
They say 7 to 9 times is when, and that's why the email is so important, right? Because a lot of times clients might scroll, but they may not even see your post because it's too early or too late in the day. Yeah. So very important to, so to answer your question, Alicia, I think in the spa industry, we have to remember people are inundated with emails, like people get overwhelmed. Yeah. So I think if you can deliver strategic content in your emails, makes the client feel like they want to open it up. It shouldn't be too long. I think visuals are very important. The visuals need to be really powerful. I think the content, I often say, if you ask an interesting question in your email subject line, that is a really great way. And don't, I mean, there's some really magic or negative magic words that I call them that you shouldn't use, like, using the word like free. Free is not a good word to use in your email. Mm-hmm. So, being really strategic in how we deliver that content. But I think in terms of how often, once a month is really great for the spa industry. Mm-hmm. Now, if you've got a flash promotion, if you decide that you're going to run a special, or even if you are, if you're working by yourself, sometimes it's easier to do it on Facebook. But if you are, maybe you've got a couple of openings, or you decided to open up an extra day, you could send an email out to your clients. And that would be what I call a flash email. It's not like those consistent flash emails are not coming like every second day. So once a month, I think for our industry works really, really well. And this way clients come to expect it. They look forward to it. And then it's not oh my God, there's another email from Alish, right? Like people can get overwhelmed. In our industry, at what I call a professional level, sometimes we could do them more frequently. So maybe once every 2 weeks, right? And people can certainly opt out. You could gauge your clients and say, in our case, how often would work for you. But I think if you've got something important to say and your client knows you and they trust you, then I think, more than twice, twice a month is fine, right? So,
did you see Tamara's question here that,
I can't see the chat, so.
Okay, so I'll read it to you.
Yeah.
She says, I get conflicting info about email list and text blast. People are not reading the emails, but have their phone. So I use text blast every other week. What are your thoughts? I think that's ingenious. I'm 53, and so technology.
Yeah.
I stumble upon it and figure it out, but these systems of WhatsApp or text blast, to me, it's like, oh wow, I never even thought about it.
I text my clients a lot, for sure. Text blasting is fantastic, for sure. It's instant, it's immediate. Clients can see it, they can respond if they want to.
Is there some sort of app to use for that? Do you?
I don't use an app only because I'm working with such a select few amount of clients now. But Tamara, do you use an app?
Yes. Well, it's a program called Slick Text.
Yeah.
And it lets you create blasts, campaigns. You can set up how frequently you want to send it. And on my website, I have it set up so they can enter their information, including their phone number, to opt in.
Okay. So again, when people are opting into a text blast, then you know that they want it, right? There's no, oh my God, I'm going to overwhelm the client, right? Now, people can always opt out, but the last thing you want to do is to have a client opt out because you're getting too many text, blasts, right? But I still think there's a very, very strong case for building your email list.
Okay.
Because I think it becomes part of your business. What's the right word?
I think of it as equity, really.
Thank you. That's what I was.
Okay, because
equity. It really is a valuable thing. For example, if you decide to ever sell your business,
right.
That becomes a valuable piece of your real estate. That's what I was looking for. It becomes real estate to me, right? That's the way I see it, right? So I think if you can do once a month, sorry, I have such a croak. If you can do once a month email blast to keep clients really, informed, like, okay, this is melanoma month, as an example. May was melanoma month, and covering like a topic, and then just say, these are the things going on in the spa. And again, in your case, Tamara, reminding people that, if you are not on our text blast list and would like to be, get weekly updates on what's new or what openings we might have, that should always be at the bottom of your email as well. And maybe occasionally on your text blast, you could say, are you part of our email list? So, like cross-marketing those, I think is a good idea as well.
I do that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Good. Yeah. But I do think that email listing, I think it's a big one. And people, and there's all kinds of thoughts. It'd be interesting to see what Mary says. But I think that there's a very strong case for growing your email list because it becomes part of your real estate. And when other technologies are down, you can still communicate with your client. And the other cool thing with email is you can segregate, as in you can, if you've got clients that just come in for, like they've got black skin, you can deal and create separate lists basically. So you can segregate lists that are targeted to very specific clients. So if you've got a client who really deals with, melanoma, you can really segment that list. And then that anytime you have a promotion or you've got special products that are in for that, that list is very specific, right? So if you've got a client who loves to come in for eyebrow waxing, or you have a client who loves body exfoliating, whatever it is that you do, you can segment the list. You can segment by age, you can segment by whatever way you want. So that's another very intriguing way to focus target your client base.
That's how I've been collecting, building this community, is really segregating everyone into interests.
Yes.
And those that have, well, you're listed as pros. That's who they get the email blasts. You guys are the people that I want on my team.
Yeah.
And then the rest are kind of in another category, you know.
Yeah, for sure, right? And so I think it's important for us to figure out, you know, where we're located is also going to determine, I think, who our clients are going to be. Because when you're in an affluent neighborhood, your clients who are going to show up there are going to be affluent. A lot of estheticians say, oh my gosh, I got this great deal in this part of town. But remember that an inexpensive or a very, very low price point rent, it could reflect on who comes through the doors as well. Right? And who are your neighbors? Who are you working and collaborating with? It's also going to determine what kind of clientele comes through the door.
Tamara, do you have any affiliates? Do you have any local businesses that you collaborate with?
I'm in a upscale salon.
Lovely.
So the stylists refer clients to me.
Fantastic.
And that's how I get most of my clients, by referral, but also through Instagram.
Yeah. And I think, you know, like, again, your client base, you know, who you're working with, who you are even, right, is going to determine, because honestly, the client who does Facebook and the client who does Instagram are two totally different clients. And they can both be your clients, but often they're not the same client, right? So I'm finding that Facebook is a little bit more mature clientele. Instagram is much, much younger, right? Very hip, very happening. Millennial is an Instagram client. They love the visuals. They love things that, you know, Instagram is also crazy, crazy fast. The feed goes so quickly. If you're not posting on there consistently, like more than once a day, you know, you get lost in the shuffle.
I remember the measure or the rule for growth hack marketing at one point was 4 times a day, posting on every platform 4 times a day.
That's crazy.
Trying to get Hootsuite going and trying to remember to do that on Sundays to schedule the posts and
I know it's exhausting. And estheticians say to me, you know, posting is a full-time job. And I said, I know it is, but you really need to do it and decide on what platform, right? So that's the other piece. You know, do you want to focus on Instagram or do you want to focus on Facebook? And you can do both, but maybe you start with one and really solidify the clients that are coming through that. So in Tamara's case, you know, it sounds like Instagram is really her platform, or her strongest platform. So focus on that one. But I will say, if you're going to do Instagram, you need to be posting every single day, multiple times a day. With Facebook, the life of a post on Facebook is significantly longer than it is on Instagram.
I actually do both. I have my Instagram connected to Facebook.
Okay.
And I do notice when I do post 3 times a day that I get more people inquiring. And if I kind of slack off and do once a day or skip a day, it goes down.
It's interesting. And we were having a conversation. I work with a Facebook coach, and we were just talking about some stuff on a call. And I personally am not a big fan of connecting our Instagram to Facebook.
Why? Tell us why.
Yeah.
Personally, because they're a different client, right? Secondly, when you post from Instagram to Facebook, all those hashtags come along.
So you have to go clean them up. That's usually, and then link them to Facebook anyway, right?
So if you're going to go back and clean it up, then just keep it at what I do. I mean, I post on both, but what I do is I will actually often take a post from 2 or 3 days ago that I posted on Instagram and post that. So basically I'm cutting and pasting, and then I'm posting that on Facebook. And then before I actually post it, I just delete all of the Instagram hashtags.
See, that's interesting. When we're talking about the difference between the audience, it makes me start to think about hi Brandy, thanks for joining. It makes me start to think about the personas. I'm working with a client who's rebuilding how can I say it without giving away my non-disclosure agreement? I have a client who is rebuilding a national organization for cancer patients.
Okay.
And we have to get to, the personas. What is the personality of the person you want to attract? So what type of social media are they using, but also what magazines do they look at? Or do they look at magazines online? Or, are they still maybe in a certain age that likes to receive their magazines in the mail, what kind of physical activity do they have, like to their mindset and their lifestyle to really help you hone in on who they are and what type of services they like, really drawing out their story. Because, yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, I was just going to say, I also think it's really important for us to remember, even though this is our business, yes, we need to do things the way we want, but at the end of the day, it's really about the client. It's about your clients, right?
The biggest slap in the face, I'm sorry, just reminded me. I was preparing this business idea. I wanted these products to launch. I saved my money. I joined this organization so I could get advice from these entrepreneur coaches. And the first one I sat down with, I told him the story and I told him the name. It was Aquarian Age Cosmetics. And he said, "And what does that mean?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, it's Unity and it's the age of Aquarius." And he said, and is the consumer going to get that? And I thought, oh shit. No,
Exactly.
they're not.
So, yeah. Clarity is important, but we also need to think about everything we do needs to be about the client. So put yourself in the client's shoes. What are they struggling with? So, in Brandy, Mary, there's another person with a phone number, but I can't see their name. So whoever is here, whoever's listening to this, even as a replay, who is your ideal client? What is it that they struggle with? And how is it that you can help them? When you can figure those small pieces out, that's when you can create your marketing based on that. Because if you can speak to the client and they go, "Oh my God, she's talking about me," that's when you're going to get success. Because then I always say to people, it's not about what you charge. It's about what you deliver. It's always about what you deliver. It's not about what you charge. And if I'll preface this because I'm a big fan of a no-no. I don't even say the real word, the G word, right? We all know what I'm talking about. The Groupon deals.
Oh, that bad word.
That bad word. Yes. I mean, the Groupon deals, I am not a fan of them at all. And I think that people work so hard in our industry and we give it away. And you know what? If somebody's come to you and they've got like a 70% off deal once, what are the chances they're going to come back again and pay you full price? Right? And so really think about that. Even if you're brand new and you're starting, I would rather give away the service personally than get involved with the Groupon.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that when we value what we do, I would rather say to a client, "You know what, Mrs. Jones, you're here for a treatment. I have something new I believe you'd be a perfect client for. I would love to gift this to you today because I want you to experience it." Really, at the end of the day, what does it cost us, right? These protocols, these treatments, they don't cost us, $150 cost-wise. That's what we would typically charge the client, but maybe it's only costing us $10. And I'm not saying give it all away, but I'm saying sometimes the best way to position what we want to grow is to sometimes gift it to somebody. Like as an example, I'm bringing in a new treatment protocol, which I don't often do, but I'm bringing in a new treatment protocol in September. And it's a very high-end treatment. Each treatment is going to be about $260 per treatment. Mm-hmm. So I have a client who's ideal for it. And she is actually a business colleague of mine. I really value her. I adore her. She's become a good friend. So I saw her a few weeks ago and I said to her, I said, I have this new thing coming in. It's really incredible for very deep, deep wrinkles. Mm-hmm. But I said, I would love to use you as my model and give you a really great price. Would you consider doing it? So she said, well, tell me more about it. So I said, well, it's going to address your lines and your wrinkles. You need to come for like at least 3 treatments consistently. And there's product you need to buy. So I prefaced the whole thing to her. And I said to her, typically it would be $260 a treatment, but I'm going to give it to you for $195. So I didn't give it to her for half price, but I gave her a significant price off. That I said to her, what I need from you is I want the before and the after pictures. I want the testimonial, and I want the during pictures as well. So we're going to do like a progress. So she's going to become my model. So that's going to be my selling feature, right? So that's a great way. Like, again, Tamara, if you're dealing with clients that have pigmentation, same thing. Find one client that you really, really connect with, that you really appreciate, that really adores and respects you. Say to her, you know what? I've got this incredible new protocol. I'd love to try it on you. I think you'd be a perfect candidate for it. Would you be willing to work with me on this? I'll do this for you. And this is what I would love from you. Would that be okay? Would that work for you? And don't give it away for free. But that's where you can position yourself and say, okay, this is how much it's going to be, but this is what I'd like to offer it to you for. Would that work for you? Right? So you're still getting paid to grow, to learn, to experiment. Because like this new treatment I'm doing, it's finicky and it's fussy. And so I'm going to get paid to get those results and perfect my craft in that particular area. Does that make sense? So that's a really good way to do things.
And I think that point of not giving it away, whether by Groupon or just, you know, as is my nature, just here, you want to try this? You know, you do this for me, I want to give it to you.
And you can gift things to clients, but they have to pay for something else. Like if they're coming in for a full treatment and you want to try something as an add-on, absolutely. Like Saluma is a fabulous protocol. And, you know, when I first got it in, I was gifting it to clients either at a reduced rate or just saying, you know, just for today, Mrs. Jones, I'd love for you to try this new protocol. And then I did it for free, but she was already spending $200 or $300, and I'm just gifting that to her so she could try it. And then the next time it's like, oh yeah, I totally want to do that. That my skin felt incredible, right? And so you can position it and do it for some clients. Just don't give it all away. I'd rather gift it for free when a client is spending money than to do a Groupon deal is what I meant when I said that. But yes, we're too quick to give it away in our industry. Way too quick, and we can't do that, right? So.
What about when some people say to use Groupon as marketing? Not to make money, but just marketing.
Lose money.
And I've been on the fence, but I'm like, no, I don't even want that type of clientele. So I haven't.
Let me ask you, Tamara, you said to me when we started this conversation that you're in an affluent neighborhood and you're in an affluent spa, correct?
Well, upscale spa, the area's, it's not low end, but it's middle.
Okay, but still, middle is better than low, right? And so
right, average salary is like $50,000 to $80,000.
That's pretty decent, right? So what do you charge as an example? Give me a high and a low for your price point for your facials.
My express facial is $50 for 30 minutes, and then I have an advanced treatment that's $125, and
okay,
it includes microcurrent, enzymes, LED, like 3 or 4 modalities, and the time is custom just depending on how long it takes, and that's $125.
So that's your high point? That's your high price point? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it still could be for all of that you do, it could be a little bit higher, right? So, but at least you're catering to a client who's not going, $125. Right. You want to pay for that, right? So you know that you've got that type of clientele there. So if you bring on, like if you sit on the fence and fall over, and then you do, as I say, fall over the fence and you do a Groupon, you could I don't know. I just find that a lot of times that when people who do that, it's like a hole that you dig yourself into.
Yeah.
It's great because you're busy, but what are you really making at the end of the day? I'm all about the numbers, like do the math.
I have.
Well, can I jump in here? My concern is, even if it makes sense at the end of the day and you break even, what type of client are you attracting? And I think that's really the theme of this call is, what type of esthetician are you? What kind of business do you want to build? And what kind of client do you want to attract? Because not all clients are
equal. Yeah.
My first spa, I worked in a busy spa, and every woman I met was a large spa, and every African-American woman I met during that period said, "Oh, I know the body clinic. I go there all the time. I get the whole package every birthday." And I'm thinking,
every birthday?
Once a year, if I'm not mistaken. I can't make a living off you coming to get a facial once a year. Yeah. And I realized that that's not my client base. It was the African community I loved. They had a great reputation, but very rarely were they coming for consistent care, and they were willing to spend the money once a year.
Yes. Yeah.
So
we also have to take care of the clients that are in our space. So when a client actually makes an appointment to come and see you, you've got to be really mindful. I call it dripping. We need to be dripping on our clients. We need to be talking to the clients, almost make the assumption they're going to come back again. So even if it's that first time client, Tamara, and I'm sorry, I'm talking to Tamara because I can't see anybody else. Everybody else has just got a name. There's Nellie and Brandy, and then there's a 310 number, but I have no names. I have no face to look at, so other than Tamara. So
you guys, you can feel free to jump in. We have the chat message on the side. You can text.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from others as well, because there are 4 other people on the call. So I'd love to know if you guys have any questions. But I think that if you really plant the seed when you're talking to your clients today, like right now, as I said this on I have a group that I admin called the Spa Marketing Forum, and it's a free group. Anybody can join as long as they're in the industry. You answer 3 questions and you're in. So I invite you guys all to join there. But on there, almost once a week, if not twice a week, I will do a little bit of a marketing tips and ideas on how to grow your business. And I always say, if you drip on your clients right now, we need to be talking about what we want to do for our clients. So when you are seeing your clients right now, I'm already talking to my clients about what I want to do for them in the fall. Right now, people are on social mode. They're in the sunshine. They're traveling. They're on vacation. The kids are off. But if they're in your chair, even if it's just for an eyebrow wax or a quick bikini wax, start talking to the client about, should we book your facial for the fall right now, Mrs. Jones? Ask them the question. They might say no, but that's okay. When you see them the next time, you're making note. That's how you build. That's how you build out. People say to me, how do I stay busy? You stay busy because you start promoting. Don't allow the client to leave unless you've actually asked them if they want to rebook. Rebooking is such a critical piece that we are missing out on because we let the client just leave, right? So I know online booking is huge, especially in the States. And it's funny, we had this conversation last month with somebody, and they said, really, do people really use a phone call? Do people usually pick up the phone? And, everybody's different, but I know I got a brand new client that booked an appointment just because she called him and got talking, So everybody's different, but if the client is in your chair, you should do what you can to get the client booked in again for their next appointment, right? Until we get super busy where you are just chock-a-block booked every day, then you can say to the client, Mrs. Jones, you know what? I can't wait to see you next month. Just go to my online booking and book it. But if you can book it yourself because you're not fully booked out, then do that. That's what I'd recommend anyway.
Brandy says she does that all the time, especially for her VIPs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And and create the busyness, create how busy you actually are, even if you're not, because you can say to the client, Mrs. Jones, I just want to let you know, I'm going to be away at the end of August for 2 weeks. I've got my clients that are already booking into the month of August. Shall we book you now? I'd hate for you to be disappointed. Right? And so when you do that, it's always easier if somebody has to then change that appointment time, because you can always fill an appointment spot. But if they're trying to get in and then they're annoyed because they can't get in, then exactly. Tamara said 95% of my clients pre-book. I let them know my availability. Exactly. Perfect. Perfect. That's exactly what I do. All my clients book ahead. And I tell people, even if you're not fully booked, something else I say to people is I'm booked out at least 2 weeks, if not 3, depending on the time of day you want to come. Right? So create the busyness, create that urgency for the clients to want to come back and see you, right?
Yeah. That's it.
And I know for some of you, you're just starting, but be really mindful of your pricing. That's something else that's going to determine what type of clientele is going to show up for you, right? And if you have been in business a while, I always ask this question as a business coach. I always say to people, when was the last time you had a price increase? And that's a really big one. And I know estheticians just cringe and they just want to go, I don't want to talk about it. But you know what? The reality is we have a business to run. We have to put food on our tables. We have to feed our families, and we got to pay our rent.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the reality of being in business today is we have to be mindful. If it's been more than 18 months since you had a price increase, I would invite you to revisit that. Right? So, okay. What other questions do you guys have? Nellie has been on and hasn't said anything. The other person with the phone number hasn't said anything. And is it mine? Is that how you say it? Do you know who that is, Alish?
I don't. 310. No.
Okay. Yeah.
Mine.
So
It looks like mine has a post-it on her.
On her. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hi, we don't need to see you. That's okay.
That's okay. But you can ask a question in the chat box if you'd like. So,
yeah.
Alish, do you have any other questions for me? I'm happy to.
So many ideas.
I've got a short list of some really low-cost marketing ideas that I'll
okay,
share.
that's just it. I wanted to just make sure when we were doing our Fearless Beauty talks in Seattle, you mentioned some cute little in-spa, I guess, merchandising things, but it feeds into marketing, doesn't it? Because, there are some things like with the water bottle,
Yeah.
I think of it as merchandising, but they're taking that outside the spa and it's going to sit in there at their desk and yeah.
And so one of what Alicia's talking about is I always say, brand everything that you can. Make it so that it becomes part of your signature. When I talk about branding and marketing, I've developed a philosophy called the purple carpet experience. And the purple carpet experience is really just taking your whole experience for the client just up a few notches, right? It's not about making it normal and regular. It's about the whole experience, rolling it out, like treat them like royalty. That's where the purple comes in, is really treating your clients like royalty. So how can you make them feel so welcomed, right? When a client has an amazing experience anywhere, think about your own experience, whether it's in a store or you went for a haircut or even like a doctor's appointment. When, you're greeted with enthusiasm, you're greeted with great respect, use their name. That's like one of the most magical words you can use any day for anybody is use their name as often as possible. Who doesn't love their name? Hi, Tamara. So lovely to see you today. Right? And so really important to use their name as often as possible. Even in an email, even in responding to a text message, I always use the client's name. Even if they've said, hey, how you doing? Want to book an appointment, or I have a question, or yes, I'd love to take that appointment. Great. Thank you so much, Alicia. It's lovely to hear from you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Right? So use their name as often as possible. That's a huge underused marketing insight, I think, that people just forget about. We don't use people's names. I always ask people's names, even if I'm in a bar, in a restaurant, in a coffee shop, even if they don't have a name tag on. I always ask people, can I, what's your name? Great, thank you so much. And then when I say thank you so much, I actually say their name, right? So thank you so much, Alish. I appreciate it. And so what that does is it helps the client feel really comfortable and makes them feel connected to you. And remember, we're in the industry where we have the privilege to touch people. And so making sure that we really honor that, but we also use that to our advantage in terms of building our client base, right? So shaking a client's hand, making great eye contact, making the client feel really comfortable. And it's all the little things that you do. Hopefully a lot of you, even if you're inside of a salon or a suite or a hair studio, you have signature colors for your business. So your branding should run through everything that you're doing. And what Alicia was talking about is you guys can get those little mini, I know they're plastic and some people go, I don't want to give away plastic, but it's really just a marketing gimmick more than anything. Get those really little mini water bottles, especially when it's hot and the client is now going out the door and it's boiling hot outside. Buy those little plastic water bottles and create a little, I don't have one here. I used to have one at my desk for the longest time. Create a little label just on your computer and it should have your name on it. And you know, it's not something a client is going to keep for a long, long time because it's not like a plastic water bottle like this or a cup like this. But even if it's something that they can use as they go out the door, it's going to be in their car for a day or two. Maybe they'll take it into their house. They might rewash it and use it once or twice. Somebody else in the house is going to see it. Or maybe they take it to the office or to the gym and somebody else is going to see your name. So it's a really great way to leverage your marketing piece, right? So was there something else? I can't even remember what else I talked about, but is there something else that
gems?
There was so many things, right?
The card, the little note.
Oh yeah. I always handwrite a note for my clients as well. We can mail cards, but you know that is an extra step, it's an extra cost. Sometimes the client doesn't want to give you their actual address. They're willing to give an email address, but not a real address. But if you can, buy some beautiful cardstock or some really cute little cards, like I've got this little one that I have here, and just says thank you, and my colors are lime green and purple, so this one happens to be lime green, and I just write a handwritten note welcoming the client if it's their first time, inviting them. They haven't come back in 6 months. It's lovely to see you again. I look forward to continuing to work with you. Thank you for your trust. I mean, there's different things you can say. But yeah, a handwritten note I think is an amazing way, and make sure that they take it with them. The other thing that I love to do is to give a client, I know in the really, really hot weather you can't do this, but I love to give a client a piece of really good chocolate. So I give chocolate, maybe when it's hot for where you guys are. Do you have a favorite toffee, maybe like a hard toffee that you can give your clients? Maybe just a beautiful mint that might be, already, twist wrapped that you can give to your clients. Those are the kind of small things that leave an impression that are more subconscious, but I think it adds to the whole experience. So not only do they have an incredible treatment, they feel super relaxed, but you've also now left them with something to take home. You guys could maybe create, have you ever seen those little mini nail files? Again, I don't have one at my desk. I have all these little marketing things, but you guys can get those little mini nail files with, your name and your email or website link or something on there that people can look and refer to. There's lots of marketing ideas like that you can really use in your business that can really help, where the client just takes it with them. And it's like, oh, that's so useful, right? Different times of the year, if it's a client's birthday, I'll put something together for them if I know it's their birthday month and they're coming in to see me. You can buy those beautiful cool little compact mirrors that are like jewel tone. And I'll just buy like black, purple, and white, because of course purple's my color. And then, put a sticker, get stickers made. Stickers are great. Use stickers whenever possible. Get creative with your gift certificates. Plastic gift cards are great, but even if you're using a plastic gift card, have fun with it and create a really interesting envelope. Again, it shouldn't just be a plain white envelope. You remember, your branding needs to run through everything. So when a client walks out the door, they've popped in to buy a gift certificate, maybe it's got a ribbon on it. Maybe it's got, confetti inside. Maybe it's got, the colors, like your sticker on the front, or the pen that you use. I use purple for everything when I'm writing, right? So that becomes part of my subtle signature. It's always there. There's always something that people are going to see. Some of you can maybe not see, but I've got purple in my hair. That's part of my branding as well. I happen to love the color purple, but that's part of my branding as well, right? And so branding yourself can come in so many different ways. Something else that I always say to my coaching clients is ABM, always be marketing. And that doesn't mean always be pitching. It just means always be marketing. Never miss out on an opportunity to market your services. And a really good example of that is if you guys in your own communities join women's groups online, whether it's on a lot of these are on Facebook. So if you're a Facebook, if you travel in the Facebook circles, join these communities and watch for, conversations that people might be asking. Oh, I'm looking for, and then don't pitch and say, oh, come see me. Respond to the question. If someone's like, oh, I'm really struggling with, then respond to a question and then say, if this is something that, if you would like, then at the end you could say, feel free to private message me. I'm a local esthetician. Now, you're still not pitching, come see me. You're just saying, if you have any further questions, feel free to private message me. Now, somebody might then start saying, oh, well, where are you located? Tell me who you are. Send me a link. But allow the conversation to just open up naturally without pitching. That's marketing. Because what you're doing is you're positioning yourself as the expert because you're responding to something in a group.
Mm-hmm. I think on Facebook, we so many of us get into our own esthetician groups, aesthetics groups.
Yes,
and
that we forget.
Exactly, we forget that there's an audience of local clients just kind of waiting. Yeah.
And local moms groups are great too. Again, remember, think of, because a lot of you are dealing with pigmentation, being able to give that kind of advice and posting things about your business in a group coming from a place of education is a great way to, again, position yourself as an expert. Mm-hmm. So right now we're in the height of summer. You could write a little mini article about, the do's and don'ts of the sun, what are the best types of SPF, and maybe do like a little mini series of just bite-sized information that people can, and just say, if you love this, feel free to follow me or find out a little bit more, so there's ways that you could do it. You could just tag your business even, right. Again, make sure that you can do that in certain groups. You can't do that, but making sure that you're following the group rules. But a lot of times you can do that. And what a great way for you to, get following, right?
One of my coaching clients has, I really like, oh, why didn't I think of that? She has a glossary online. And she's constantly updating and adding it. And she just puts it out there, lets the consumer know, yes, if you have questions about this, and this is a resource that I'm building, and you can contact me directly here. Yes. So because people like to Google, they like to check it out. And then she's establishing herself as a knowledgeable expert,
Exactly. So the moms groups are great. The local women's groups are great. And I know, I don't know, I can't remember. Somebody said it at the beginning, networking is not always easy to do, but I really encourage you to do it. It's a great way to, again, position yourself as the expert in your community. Because remember, a lot of estheticians are not actually doing that. So if you're the one in your community that's doing it, that's when people are going to remember you, right? And something else I love to do, and I said this, I think at the Fearless Beauties, I always give a client a minimum 2, if not 3 business cards. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is I say to the client, if you give 2, then say, I'd love for you to keep one in your wallet. But if you've got somebody in your life that could benefit from my services, I'd love for you to be able to have one that you could then give out to a friend or a colleague. Right? So that's a really good marketing tip as well. If you're building and you're brand new or you're quite new and you haven't had an opportunity to do this, go into your community and pound the pavements. Go and meet people. Go and meet the other business owners and take something. Take a business card and maybe a little mini bag of candy or a gift certificate that you could invite them to come in and see you. Make an impact, right? Remember, it's one thing to go and introduce yourself, and that's great, but leave them with something so that they can remember you.
And Tazim, there were 2 things came to mind. One, I wanted to ask you if you still see value in doing things like joining the Chamber of Commerce for your area. And then the other point, we asked Tamara about who she's, her affiliates, who she's partnering with. And she said she's in an affluent salon, but then what about businesses around the salon that could support. So maybe there's a makeup studio or a pastry shop, that's totally outside of your arena. But if you have a talk one night, maybe the pastry shop can supply the snacks, and then you guys wind up collaborating. They're inviting their customers, And,
Oh yeah, and that's why I said pound the pavements, go and meet people in your community. And you might think it's a perfect fit, but you go in there and you meet the person and you think, maybe not.
Yeah.
But get your feet wet and be the one to jump in and go and introduce yourself. Good ideas. I'm in a shopping center, restaurant. Yes, absolutely, Tamara. You need to go and meet those people and introduce yourself and say, hey, you know what? I know it's been like my bad. I've been here, 6 months and I haven't come out, but it's been super busy. Now I'm, the dust is settling, and it doesn't matter when you go and introduce yourself. They could be a whole new staff from even 3 months ago in that new space. So go in there regularly. And you know what? As a business owner, be the first one to support another business. But don't forget to introduce yourself so that people know, oh, wow, you know what? She comes in here once a week and buys a coffee. She comes in and buys her groceries. She comes in and supports us. And when you have an ask, they're going to be way more open to supporting you too. So we as business owners need to support businesses in our own community and refer people to them. And when we do that, in life, we have to give to get. My philosophy anyway, right? When you show up and you give, people are like, oh my God, thank you so much. You sent a client to me. She was amazing. You're welcome. Absolutely. I'm really glad that worked out.
Yeah, I love that.
And then down the road, you're going to say, you know what? I'm hosting an event. I'm wondering if you would be kind enough to support us, right? And the other thing I would do is if you've been in, and this is a really good idea, if you've been in to see somebody, ask them if they have social media, right? Most people do today, right? But ask them if they do, and then just say, can I take your business card? Tag them, say, I was out in my community today. It was really lovely to meet X from XYZ.
Yeah.
You're tagging them. And when you tag another business, that's powerful. Because anybody who's following their page is now going to see you. That's a fantastic way to grow your business for free.
I love it.
Right?
All great ideas. I wanted to just kind of pass the mic around to anyone who wants to chime in the last 5 minutes and give us ask any questions or any nuggets that you gained from this conversation. Just share it. The last replay, I think we've had maybe 8 or 9 people pop in off and on today. The last replay, we had 5 people on the actual call and 130, logged in. So,
nice.
Yeah, whoever is here, you guys get the benefit of actually asking questions live. So I want you to feel free to contribute. The whole idea of having this mastermind group is that I believe, when one or more are gathered, there go I. There's a consciousness that is developed when like-minded people come together to nurture each other. And so,
You want to unmute everybody, maybe?
Yes, let's see who's mine is unmuted.
So something else I would love to leave you guys with is do things differently. Get creative as possible in your business. Engage your clients. Invite them to write a review. Invite them to check into your Facebook business place. But create a surprise element for your clients. Who doesn't love a surprise? Have fun with your business, ladies. That's what this is all about. When you're passionate and you love what you do and you show up with enthusiasm. That was my last Facebook live that I did last week is, that's the element that so many of us are missing. And it's not because we don't love what we do, but we're so nervous that we're sitting in that place of we've got this seriousness all the time. We need to smile. When you smile, the room lights up. That's when clients are way more open to actually asking you a question. That's when people are like, oh, she's super approachable. Hello, how are you? And it doesn't always have to be, hi, my name is, I'm an esthetician. You could just walk up. I mean, in your case, Tamara, you could go into the salon if it's okay with the stylist and greet people. Hello, how are you? You're in to see who? Absolutely great. I don't think we've ever met. My name is Tamara. I'm the local esthetician here in the spa. We've never met before. So nice to meet you. May I give you my card? And you don't have to say, here's my card. Ask permission. May I give you my card? Right?
Tamara, do you ever get a chance to go by and maybe do a hand treatment or?
I was going to say, that's the other thing I was going to say. Do a hand massage or something for free. Yeah.
I did that at first.
Yeah.
Are you too busy right now?
I'm pretty busy when I'm there, but when I do go in, because I have to go through the salon to get to my space, I speak to everyone.
Good morning.
I do ask them who they're there to see. If I have time, I say, would you like water? I'm Tamara, I'm the esthetician. Would you like a card? So I do some of those things. Sometimes I just have to be in the mood.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel really good about it, and sometimes I'm really nervous.
So instead of saying to the client, what did you say? No, you said, no, don't ask, would you like a card? Ask them if you could give them a card. May I give you a card?
Okay.
That small 3-letter word is so powerful, because then the onus is on them. When they say yes, they're saying yes because they want it, not because you are trying to give it to them.
Okay, that makes sense.
Energy about the word may I instead of can I.
Mm-hmm.
Can I give you a card? May I give you a card? Because you're still asking their permission.
Okay.
Right? It's subconscious. It's a very, very little change, but it changes the energy of the conversation. Then they're receiving it because they really want it, not because you're like, oh yeah, here's my card, right? So that changes it for sure. Nellie, Brandy, mine, I would love to hear from you guys.
Nellie has something to say.
Hello, Nellie.
Hi, I just actually joined you guys late, and so I'm just in the listen mode today. I'm sorry.
That's okay, no worries. Do you have any questions?
Not right now. Thank you for doing it.
Oh, you're welcome. Absolutely.
Nellie, the replay will be on, so if whatever you missed, I'll send out the link so everyone will be able to listen in. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Brandy, how about you? You're muted. I think you're muted yourself. So if you've got any questions, I would love to answer them. And if not, in the meantime, I know it's super short notice, but I'm actually doing a masterclass this afternoon at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. It's 8:35 in the morning now, so 1 o'clock our time here on the West Coast. And the masterclass is 6 easy ways to optimize your Facebook page in less time than it does to do a bikini wax. So I think the masterclass will probably run, 60 to 75 minutes, and then I'll be on answering questions. And it is specifically about Facebook. Some of the marketing could probably apply to Instagram, but it really is about Facebook and how to optimize the page. So I'm going to be doing like a live demo on where to find things, how to look for insights. There's some really good hacks that, if you're not using, could really help to grow the engagement on your Facebook page. So that is, the link is actually in the original email, I believe, that Alicia sent out. So if that's something that might interest you, then would love to have you guys join me. I know it's, like I said, it's crazy late. It's like today in a few hours. But I also have a really awesome group to do online. And it's a paid monthly membership where you get support for $2 a month. And then there's 20 social media images every month that you guys get to use and brand in your business, which is really, really cool. It's a really neat. So if you want to check any of those out, both of the links are in the email that Alicia sent out. And I have a really cool PDF that I would love to email to anybody who wants it. If you guys would like to join my email list, I'd love to have you guys. So that applies to anybody even listening to the replay. Feel free. I wonder how we could do that.
What's that?
If people want to join my email list, they can email me directly, because it can be too hard for me to access this afterwards. But if you do want to join my email list and would like to get that free PDF, I'm happy to send it to you guys. So what would be the best thing to do that?
I can, when I send out the recording, the link to the recording, I can include,
My email address?
yes, to
Sure.
sign up for your newsletter.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be fine. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys got some golden nuggets from today. And if you have any other questions, feel free to join my other group too. That's free, the Smart Marketing Forum. It's a really cool group. I have about 1,200 people in there. And there's always some good conversation in there too. So that's all about marketing.
All of that is in the newsletter that I sent out. So you guys have all the links to join Tazim later today and to keep up with her ongoing. This is good. So thanks for being our first guest.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. It was an honor for sure.
Yeah.
Any takeaways, Tamara? What was your takeaway from the call today?
To be fearless in my pursuit of my passion and to use may I.
May I?
more
Oh,
often.
that's a good one. Thank you. Nellie, do you have
Thank you.
You're so welcome. My pleasure. Nice to meet you.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Brandy, how about you? No, we're not going to get Brandy engaging today. Well, thank you. I know it is early for sure. Thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was amazing. And wishing you guys all a fantastic week ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Take care, everybody.
Brandy, join the class. Yes, definitely. She'll welcome you with open arms. All righty. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. Our guest will be Mary Nielsen, and we'll be talking about incorporating lasers into your treatment.
Hey, awesome.
All that
Thank
work
you.
with ethnicity. All right.
Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
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 Bye. In for